Hey there, and welcome back to the channel. Have you ever used a flash and thought, why does this look so flat? Then this video is going to be for you. You don't need 5 lights to do this or a fancy studio. You just need control of your speedlight. So today I'm going to show you how to sculpt dramatic portraits using just one speedlight, and it doesn't really matter what you use. So I have been using this, which is the newer Z3 on camera flash, but you can also use it off camera. So this is a great speedlight or flash for using a single light setup. I'm going to explain how to create depth and drama in camera, how you can shape light, not just add light, and how to use one speedlight intentionally, not reactively. This isn't about expensive gear, it's about placement, power, and restraint. I'm talking deep shadows, strong facial structure, directional light, and mood that feels deliberate. None of this is accidental, and none of it relies on fixing it later in post. So why does flash often look flat? If you are aiming your flash straight on, it can quite often kill the shape unless you use diffusion and other things, and I'm going to get to that a bit later. Too much power fills everything and just gets rid of all the contrast and the shadows and all the rest of it. And if the light is close to the lens, it can equal boring results at times as well. Most people blame flash when what they're really fighting is light placement. Now, I'm going to introduce you to a little program you may or may not have seen before. And this is a really valuable tool in learning where light placement can affect the outcome of your images. So let's go have a look at Set.a.Light. Okay, so this is inside Set.a.Light. Now, I'm not going to go through and show you how to use the whole program. Maybe I'll do that in another video. But I'm going to show you how you can use this to practice lighting setups without actually getting into the studio. So you can set different lights, you can set different diffusers, you can set different models. I've got my camera here and I can move my camera up or down. I've got my backdrop, I can change my backdrop, so you can change the size of it, you can change the colour, things like that. So I have got one light with a softbox on a lighting stand, and I have got it in a fairly basic Rembrandt lighting. Now, it doesn't really matter whether you're using I can change the lighting head, and let's put just a standard Godox AD200 Pro. That's a fairly standard flash. I don't think that my newer Z3 is listed yet because it is so new. So I've got a 24-105mm lens. I can change that to, say, a fixed 50mm lens, or I can go to an 85mm lens, which is probably what I would be using in a studio. I've got my shutter speed at 1/125th of a second. I could change that to 1/60th, which is frequently what I would do. I can change my kelvins. I'd probably want to go to something a little more neutral. And my ISO, I can jump that up to, say, 200. I've got my f-stop, so I could go down to 2.8, which is making it very bright, obviously. Or I could go even smaller than that. So whatever takes your fancy. So in the studio, I'm probably, depending on what I'm shooting, I'm either going to be on f2.8 or something like an f8. So this is a fairly standard studio setup. So I've got one AD200 Pro, I've got a softbox on, I'm at f8, and I've just got my model standing in front of my backdrop. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my light so that it's more side on. I can move my light so that it's coming from underneath. I can have it so that it's cross lighting. I can move when it wants to. There we go. I can move it so that I am shooting from behind her. Literally behind her. From the other direction, in front. I can have it behind my camera. See, it's blocking my camera there, so I'm going to go up. So playing around with this gives you an idea of why light behaves in a certain way. So if I was to move it just out of the way of my camera and having it direct onto her, having it right on in front of your subject is sometimes why it can make your images look flat. You could lift it up higher so that you have more of like a clamshell, especially if you add in a reflector. So I can come in here and I can add in a reflector or a helper. So let's just add in a gold reflector. And you can start to see how that, if I move myself over here maybe, how that can make a difference to your images, and you're seeing it in real time. So if I was to move my light, perhaps if I moved it sideways, and I'm just going to grab my reflector, and I'm going to move it around here. I'm going to do this more of cross lighting, maybe bring it down a little bit. You can see where my light is hitting my reflector and bouncing back into my model. This is where the only tricky bit gets in. You're trying to work your way in amongst different things. So you can see how shaping that light, whether you're bringing it in closer, further away, angling it up, coming down, going for more of a Rembrandt light, and I'm going to tilt the light. See how you've got that red light that cuts across the face, and you've got that yellow light which is hitting that reflector. Now that reflector, where I've got it there, is not going anywhere at all. So I'm going to turn that so that it bounces back into the face. So you really are getting real-time results in what you were doing. So I've got the light hitting her face, and I've got the light hitting the reflector, which is bouncing back and lighting the other side of her face. So just moving your light sort of 10-15 centimeters can make a huge difference. Same setup, same power, just moving it away can drop your light by half a stop or a stop. The same subject but completely different mood. This is where Flash stops being technical and starts being expressive by playing around with it. Now, I could jump in the studio and I could do this same setup with a model in a studio, but I thought using this program here, it's quicker and easier for you to see the in-time results. Now, this is a paid program, but if you want to get it and run a trial, you can play with that as well. So why sculpting light in camera is better than trying to fix it later? It can save you time, it builds contrast and capture a cleaner look to your photos, and adding drama in later can sometimes feel very, very fake. I'm not anti-editing. In fact, I love editing. But if you can get it 99.9% of the way in camera, that's a great place to start. Now, let's have a little talk about using an on-camera flash. This isn't the enemy. And I know I've just spent the last 10 minutes or whatever talking about why flash looks flat when it's coming straight at your subject. But let's clear something up. On-camera flash isn't bad. Boring flash isn't necessarily bad either. You can use direction, especially if you have got something like the newer Z3. You can create distance between yourself and your subject. You can use diffusion, like one of these little diffusers or a mini softbox or a mag mod or whatever, and you can control your power as well. You can absolutely sculpt light with an on-camera flash, but you have to stop treating it like a panic button. Direct flash can be dramatic. It can feel editorial, gritty, or even cinematic. It only becomes flat when it's overpowered, under-diffused, and not directed. Direct doesn't mean careless, it just means more honest light. I have been using some on-camera flash, like this one, in quite a few of my recent shoots. It can make my background darker, it can create some subject separation, and you embrace your shadows, not eliminating them. Now, diffusion actually matters, but it's not necessarily how people think. What diffusion does not do, it does not magically make your flash soft. It does not fix bad placement, and it does not replace intentional shooting. What it does do is it spreads the light. It takes the edge off those specular highlights, and it can make skin transitions feel calmer, so you haven't got all those hot spots on your faces. Diffusion is the seasoning, not the main meal. Now, you can use a small dome diffuser like this. There are loads of different mini softboxes and things that you can put on top. You can put a scrim in front of this, so you can get one that goes on your lens and sits in front of your flash. That's another really good way to use it as well. So the diffusion is going to spread the light out and make it a little bit softer. It's not making the flash softer, it's just spreading the light out. And if you are tilting your light so that you are feathering your light, so if you've got a white ceiling, for instance, you are sending the light to the ceiling and then bouncing it off the ceiling back down to your subject, that can make a huge difference. If you are tilting your light so that this part of the light is lighting your face and having it perhaps even a little above your subject, that can work really well too. But if you have it straight at the subject, no diffusion, off a camera, right into the face, it can make it look really, really flat. So if you're going to use an on-camera flash, think about diffusion, think about direction, think about feathering it. It can make a big difference. TTL versus manual, and this I suppose is in particular with most speedlights these days. So TTL means through the lens, so it is using the light meter off your camera. It's not lazy. TTL is responsive, it's brilliant in changing conditions. Manual is still brilliant for controlled setups, but TTL isn't about giving up control, it's about choosing where you spend your attention. TTL shines on moving subjects, fast-paced portrait sessions, on-camera flash scenarios for sure. Environment, portraits, shifting light, things like that is really good. But manual, if you're in a locked up setup, you're in studio, repeating frames, you've got style consistency, manual's going to win. So working smarter means using the tool that supports your creative decision making. It's not about proving a point on Instagram. So if you find that TTL works for you, use it. If you find manual works better for you, use that. It's about finding the tools that work for you. So I'm going to leave it there for today's video. I've covered quite a lot. So if you are using a speedlight or a flash, you can use it on camera, but be intentional about how you use it. If you're using it off camera, play around, experiment, move your light, move it in closer, further away, to the side, to the back, use a reflector, bounce light, play with it. Use a program like Set.a.Light to practice if you don't have access to a studio and a model. If you have access to a studio but not a model, consider using something like a mannequin or a dummy or something like that. Use your dog. That works well too. Been there, done that before. So I hope you found this video helpful. I am putting together a back to basics flash workshop. So if you are local to me and you are interested in learning more about how to use your flash, maybe check that out and I will put the link for that below. Otherwise, don't forget to give it a like, thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you next time on YouTube. Bye.